Hi, I'm Melissa from the Finders Resellers, and tonight is going to be about some ethics, so I will be right back. The Finders. The Finders. The Finders Resellers. Tonight is about buying vintage items and having respect for them. Be just a minute. Okay, so if you sell vintage items, I sell home goods, and um, I just have this thing for selling items for what they're worth. And to find out what usually a vintage item's worth, you take a picture of it on Google Lens, and then you see what the other platforms are charging for the same item. And that's how I price my items. Because I don't always list on eBay, so I don't go by eBay sold prices, what they sold for. I list them for what everybody else is listing them for. And that's the way I sell my items. But the one thing I wanted to say was if you sell vintage, please list it at the price it's going for. And don't just try to make a sale from it for, $5 or $10 just so somebody would buy it. I really respect vintage stuff because it is old and it's not damaged, and it most of the time has a decent maker, and I just think all that stuff should be respected. And when you price it and you put it on a platform, that should show. And I believe that's the way it should be. I don't really like the fact that people, like I said, just want to make a sale and they just put it on there and everything. So that's my little soapbox uh, ethics for tonight, and I'll have a tip for you in a minute. So, if you like to hear my opinions on how to do things and get tips for resale, make sure you're subscribing because I really need subscriptions. Eventually, when I get monetized and start getting paid, I'm going to put it towards autism research because my kid that is 21, and you might hear him in my videos every now and then. He makes loud noises, but yeah, it's going to go towards that. So please subscribe and push the button down there and maybe give me a thumbs up. But yeah, my tip for tonight is if you're selling on the platforms, make sure you're checking them 3-4 times a day to see if you got any offers or if you made any sales, or that they do need checked. You can't just put them on there and just leave them and things like that. So you do need to check your platforms 3 or 4 times a day and keep up with your sales and keep up with your questions, because people will have questions about your items. And it's simple, but you know, I try to make this easy for you guys because I'd like you all to be resellers because it's good for the environment. And like I said, it gets things that people didn't want back in the hands of people that do want. And like I said, for tonight is, value those vintage things that you pick up and price them what they deserve to get. And yeah, don't just put $5 on it and say, there you go, especially when it's a Fenton or when it's, Linux or, Left On, or, all these different little brands deserve a decent price. So that's what I have to say for tonight. You guys have a good night, And make sure you're checking your platforms. Okay, bye-bye. And every video is going to be something different about resale and different things to learn. So you guys will be going to garage sales with me in the summer. You'll be getting my tips and opinions, through the winter. You'll see the other things that I work on, and just, yeah, it's just a good broadcast for you guys. So like and subscribe, and we'll see you again. Okay, bye-bye.